Movies and literature have long romanticized the lives of pirates, often portraying them as exciting, adventurous figures. These fictional pirates are depicted as charming outlaws, offering thrills rather than showcasing the harsh and violent realities of piracy. However, in the real world, piracy was far more brutal, with death and violence being a much larger part of the story. Today we're going to explore some of the most gruesome methods pirates use to eliminate their enemies. But before we dive into these dark tales, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, drop a comment below to let us know which other notorious figures from history you'd like to hear about. Now let's take a step back in time and learn about the history of piracy. Piracy refers to any criminal act, such as theft or violence, committed at sea. The practice dates back to ancient times, with records of piracy as early as the 14th century BCE, affecting early civilizations around the Aegean and Mediterranean seas. However, when most people think of pirates, they're imagining figures from what's often called the Golden Age of piracy, which spanned roughly 80 years from the mid-1600s to around 1730. During this period, increased trade between Europe and its colonies across the Atlantic and Indian Oceans created opportunities for pirates to strike, as valuable cargo became more abundant. This boom in piracy was also fueled by a reduction in the size of European navies, leaving fewer forces to protect trade routes. In some cases, governments even secretly supported piracy to disrupt the interests of rival nations. Pirate activity flourished in areas where law enforcement on the seas was minimal. The Golden Age of piracy is usually divided into three phases. The first, known as the buccaneering period, roughly 1650 to 1680, saw English and French sailors based in places like Jamaica and Tortuga, targeting Spanish colonies in the Caribbean. These raids were sometimes backed by French and English officials who were keen to disrupt Spain's control over the region. By the 1690s, many pirates had expanded their operations beyond the Caribbean, venturing into the Indian Ocean in search of larger rewards. This era is known as the Pirate Round. Finally, after the War of Spanish Succession ended in the early 1700s, many sailors found themselves unemployed, leading to another surge in piracy. This period is referred to as the post-Spanish Succession era. However, by 1720, piracy was already on the decline as European nations began taking serious measures to eliminate it. The short-lived golden age of piracy has left a lasting impression on pop culture. But Hollywood's portrayal of pirates often omits the real violence and terror they inflicted. Some of the more infamous pirate punishments have made their way into popular culture. For example, keel hauling involves tying a person to a rope and dragging them beneath the ship, often leading to severe injuries or death. Punishments aboard pirate ships could be harsh. In some cases, if a pirate killed a fellow crew member without permission, they would be tied to the deceased and thrown overboard. Another cruel practice was known as sweating, where prisoners were forced to run back and forth across the deck while being stabbed or slashed by the crew. Perhaps the most famous pirate punishment is walking the plank, where captives were blindfolded and forced to walk off the ship into the sea. While this method became a popular trope in stories about pirates, historical evidence suggests it was rarely used. The concept was likely popularized by literature rather than actual pirate practices. Some of history's most notorious pirates engaged in truly horrific acts. One such figure was François l'Olonnais, a French pirate active in the mid-1600s. He gained a reputation for extreme cruelty, reportedly torturing his captives to reveal hidden treasures and even committing gruesome acts, such as dismembering victims. Another infamous pirate was Sir Henry Morgan, who, despite being accused of using brutal methods, became a celebrated figure in England and even served as Jamaica's lieutenant governor. Then there was Edward Lowe, one of the most feared pirates of the early 1700s. Known for his extreme cruelty, he was notorious for torturing his victims, including burning their hands with flaming ropes. So, after hearing these stories, has your perception of pirates changed? Let us know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching this video. Before we end the video, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.